good afternoon. Whenever you're listening to this, welcome to the internet's most sophisticated wrestling podcast, discussing the weekly aspects of it all, right here on
The Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back to the Bald Monkeys podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am Christopher, and we are back with a very special interview, the first of its kind. I have Captain Chuckles with me. There's two of us, and look at this. We have two guests tonight. We have 4 minutes of heat. Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl. I cannot believe you guys are with us tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us. It is exciting times right now. We have nothing else to do but to get on podcasts. And I was excited that you guys invited us because I think you guys put out some really cool stuff. Can I say shit?
You can say shit.
Good, because I just said it.
Don't worry. If you couldn't, I can easily just bleep it out when I do the editing.
Perfect.
Right, we won't. We're going to put a counter in the corner of how many times you actually say it.
When Eddie talks, go ahead and just bleep a random word just to make him sound like a real asshole.
I love it. This is our first tag team. Yeah. So this is the first tag team we've had on the podcast. So it'll be fun.
We're going to see how it goes. We're not quite sure if this is going to stay on the rails or go off of it, but we're confident that we're going to get something good out there.
If you've listened or watched anything we've ever done, it's going to go off the rails.
Yeah. Well, then that's good for us. That's what we need. So we start every one of our podcasts off the same way. We'd like to learn a little bit more of the background of the wrestlers and who they are and how they started, but everybody starts when they're little. So what was young Ricky Gibson and young Eddie Pearl like?
You go first.
Me go first?
You go first.
Oh, man. What were we like or not? Okay. Man, I'm a troublemaker, obviously. I was terrible in school. But I really wasn't that terrible of a kid. I was just kind of towed the line of being a terrible kid. So that was me. That was literally it. I was just kind of bad.
Kind of bad.
Yeah. I've heard some stories. He's downplaying it. I was rowdy as hell. I climbed everything. I got kicked out of daycare. Like my parents tell me that story all the time. I got kicked out of daycare because I was climbing bookshelves and like I bit the I bit the lady that was watching us. It was pretty funny. Like I was really young. Once I started going to school, I was a little bit more behaved. I was a lot more behaved. Like I never got in trouble. But man, I was wild.
So that's where the biting comes from. All right. I've noticed that. There's a lot of mouth action going on.
Whoa.
Chill.
Whoa. Relax.
So we're growing up. We're getting older. When's our first memory of wrestling? What was the first kind of thought was, wow, this is cool and I love it?
I'll answer that. I remember just flipping channels kind of a thing. And I remember seeing Kane in like 1998 when he was Kane, you know what I mean? And I had no idea what wrestling was, but just the image of Kane, this like weird monster, like it was during his entrance, blew my mind. I couldn't fathom what I was watching, and ever since then.
I've actually never watched wrestling.
Oh. It shows.
He just showed up.
Similar. I was at a babysitter's house. I was older and I didn't get kicked out of this one. Someone else was flipping through the channels and it was The Undertaker and Mankind on TV.
Undertaker and Kane.
And it drew my attention immediately. It wasn't until slightly later that I really started watching it, but that's the first memory, like being at the sitter's house, like I remember the specific bedroom, the bed, I remember everything about that moment because it was something just wild. I've never seen that before.
Now you're getting into wrestling, and was there wrestlers that stood out that made you guys kind of go, man, I kind of want to do this. Maybe I can do this.
I don't know if, I mean, there's so many, but like growing up, like once I started really getting into it, it was definitely The Undertaker. That mystique, like, just made me love it. But what made me buy into myself being able to do it was DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. Like that story of like, and he was always billed as like the underdog, and it was WCW, and it was specifically his feud against Macho Man Randy Savage. And like that, he's the underdog, and he finally gets the win. And to me, it was like, I could do this too. And yeah, love it.
Yeah, for me, it was two phases. It was like when I first started watching, it was Kane, and then of course Jeff Hardy. Like all of the stereotypical, like, oh, these are, and then once you start watching over time, you get a little bit older, and it's like, oh, you start noticing the Chris Benoits, the Eddie Guerreros, Demon. So like, you try to go to that art form, technical style, and yeah.
So it's like first, like it's the lights and the glamour of wrestling.
Yeah.
Then as you learn more about it, you become more of a student of the game.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely. Dude, chill, dude.
Now, how did it get started? How did that first moment of, all right, I got to figure out how to become a wrestler, or I'm gonna go try and do this? How did that get started?
For me, it was tough for me because like I have a bunch of learning disabilities, and like I'm dyslexic and have like really severe ADHD, hence like the shitty kid part. But just being rowdy. But so for me, it was like almost like I like a fear of failure, and like it was almost like not even an option because like, oh, everything else is so like, especially something I care about that much. Like I was like, there's no way that can be achieved. But yeah, so it took me a long time. I didn't start until I was 26, so it took me a long time to like overcome that idea, like kind of bat that aside and then go for it. So
man, I started watching wrestling when I was really young. My best friend in 5th grade, so however old that is, I can't remember now, but we started talking about it, like, yeah, we're going to grow up, we're going to be a tag team, we're going to be wrestlers, and live in Oregon, born and raised. And I started searching for schools, and there's nothing in Oregon and there was nothing in Washington because the athletic commission basically banned it. So like I was looking up schools in California and all over the United States, and I was like, I can't get to any of these. And I was 16 years old. Portland Wrestling had just come back for like the third or fourth time. And when I went out to one of those shows, one of the guys there was like, yeah, there's a school an hour from my house in Hillsboro. And I was like, I'm in. And that was it. Like he did too, but I started amateur wrestling in middle school. Yeah. So like I got the foundations of, the athletic part and the strength training and the agility and whatnot. And that started it for me. I knew that was step one.
Yeah. And that's how much like I was calculated even at a young age, even though it took me so long. Like the only reason I did amateur was I was like, oh, okay. Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, the best guys have an amateur background. So I wanted that.
So I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't usually ask everybody this, but I want to know, what was that first bump like?
Oh. Sorry. Continue.
That's Chuck later in the.
You're
a little early. You're a little early.
That looks like a Chuck question. Classic Chuck, dude.
What was it? What was that first bump like?
Dude, I'll answer. Felt like yesterday.
He fell yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I took a bump yesterday. No, the first bump, like, it was insane. Like, so it's so weird, like the perception of what you think it feels like, and then the reality and I remember taking my first bump and just thinking like, this is literally impossible. And then the next day not being able to move my neck and like barely get out of bed. And in that moment when I was laying in bed, I was just going over the roller decks of like superplex, German. And like, I hadn't done any of that yet. I just took a regular old flat back. So like the idea of it was like, I was like, this is impossible. I can't believe this. But then, luckily I was stupid enough to just keep going back. Yeah. And eventually you get calloused to those movements and you can start to manipulate them and stuff like that. But yeah, for definitely, like, it was a shock. It was a shock to me how everything hurt. The ropes hurt, turnbuckle hurts. You know, you know, the classic, like, dog on wrestling. It's like, oh, it's like a trampoline, and there is bounce, but it doesn't do shit. So, like, you look at that and you can go like, oh yeah, like there's a little, but it really just, it was terrible.
I have two stories of training that really like nail home this point. So first of all, my first bump, same thing. Like, this sucks. Like, it hurts a lot. But you know, you just get up and you keep doing it because it's what you've always wanted to do. Early in training, I mentioned I was 16 when I started. I was on the high school wrestling team at the time, and the guy that started with me was also on the wrestling team. And we had another guy that was on the wrestling team that didn't start with us. His name was Nathan. He was an Asian that was jacked out of his mind. Like, he looked like Brock Lesnar. In fact, he loved Brock Lesnar.
Damn.
Like, huge traps, huge arms, like stereotypical perfect amateur wrestler. And he was obsessed with wrestling too. And finally we convinced him to come out, and he got in the ring and he bumped like 10 times in a row and hit his head every single time. And he did not come back to training. And this is a guy that you would look at and go, this guy's going to be a machine. He's going to be a monster. Natural talent, like natural build too.
There's so many of those guys that come in to practice, and you look at him and they're the perfect build, and they're like the perfect look of a wrestler. And like deep down, you're like, yeah, I wish I looked like that. And then those guys, dude, they get bumped out. They can't deal it.
Story two, that best friend I was talking about, Cody, growing up, I finally convinced him to come down to training. And he rolled around. Like, you always start with rolls and like making sure you can move and whatnot. And he took one bump and was like, nope, this isn't. Literally one, and he was done. And he hung around. Like, he helped us with ring crew and setting up and tearing down, and, you know, help behind the scenes at shows. But after that, he was like, I can't. And it makes me feel really good about what we do. And like, puts all the people to say it's fake or, you know, it's trampoline or whatever, just puts it to rest, because there's so many people that have tried and just failed miserably.
That was one of my issues with that bullshit show, Glow, where like they show a scene of them like taking bumps. She's like, hey, not that bad. And I was like, you bitch. How dare you?
Yeah, I think I would be the one and done and be like, okay, come on, let's go. Oh, okay, thanks. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. I'll get you guys some coffee, some water, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You talked about one of your friends growing up, Ricky, of wanting to join to be a tag team with him. Your friend is not the gentleman next to you. So we're not friends? I say the same thing about this guy. Right. How did you guys meet, and how did the tag team 4 Minutes of Heat start?
So I was training at a school in Salem, Oregon. And I was like secondary coach, but the other guy just never got in the ring. And Eddie was training. He only trained once a week at the time because of his work. And I wasn't going to training on those days. So he was there on Wednesday. I was there on Monday and Friday. And then the occasional time we would cross paths on a Friday, or maybe I would come down on a Wednesday or something like that. But he stood out like as a almost instant natural, like the way he moved in the ring and did stuff. And I missed the first couple trainings, so I don't really know, but like that's what stuck out.
I'm just the best, dude.
He's the best. It stuck out to me, and I got a text message from a company here in Portland that said, hey, I want you to be I want you to find a tag partner for this next coming show. And I was at a show at the time, a student show at the time, and I turned to him and was like, hey, you want to wrestle on whatever date for DOA? He's like, yeah. And so he became my tag partner for that thing. It was supposed to be like a one-off thing. But at the time I was traveling to California a lot, and I was like, dude, get in the car. Like, you're going with me, and we'll figure it out. We just kind of took off from there.
Nice.
I can't get rid of them.
Follow me everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Now, since this is the first time we've had a tag team, we can actually kind of ask questions about the other person and have the other person be in the same room.
6 inches. Oh, sorry.
Still a little early.
What is since you guys don't like each other and you aren't friends? What's each other's worst habit?
Oh man,
Please don't bury me.
dude. I honestly, I hate to put you over, but I can't think of. And maybe it's like your lack of talent, but no, like I honestly like we have such a good working relationship. Not only like just talking shit, but man, my numbers are up. Huh? I've said it like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, we have a good working relationship with it. There's not a lot. There's no fighting. There's no. Usually whoever has a creative idea, and if like we do disagree, like it's not fighting, it's like tweaking it. I'm like, hey, how about this might look a little bit better, or whatever it is. So like, yeah, I can't say, man,
does he snore? Does he chew with his mouth open?
Okay, I'll say this
blow bubbles.
I'll say this, this isn't that bad, but he has to fall asleep with the TV on. So when we're traveling, he's in a hotel room and I need it completely dark. Like, no, yeah.
I'm with Daddy.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
See, I didn't realize, like, it's really hard to get a small TV and headphones to watch. It's really easy to get a sleep mask and earplugs.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Okay. Wow.
You little bitch.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess if I had to choose one, that would be it.
Eddie snores really loud.
That's true.
So that's the balance out, where it doesn't normally keep me up, but I've definitely woken up because of it. I snore too, but I don't think it's bad.
Well, maybe if you turn the TV up.
Chris is the same way. He snores like a banshee. I mean,
yeah, dude.
It's ridiculous. But
I wake
then
up.
again,
like,
I do too. I just sleep right through shit. So it doesn't even matter.
They throw shit at me. Like I'm sleeping and snoring, and I'll wake up and there's like shoes around me and bricks and stuff.
It is what it is, man. Bricks.
That's amazing.
Oh, I wasn't there for that one. Thank God. Well,
Dude.
what's each other's best trait? What's the thing you like about each other the most?
I've said this about him before, which like I said this before, and people are like, "What the hell?" But he if it was like giving up wrestling or slitting my throat, he'd kill me. And I know the same reaction. People are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But there's like that passion. Like he is so. That's the other thing I like about us too. Is like, dude, if he gets signed, see, dude. Like, there's none of that like animosity like ever, or like we don't have room for it, dude. It doesn't fit into our programs.
We both have this idea that we're not going to hold each other back. We're going to push each other as far as we can and go as far as we can together. But if there's a phone call comes and Eddie answers the phone and it's a contract, I'll be like, hey, good job. See you later. And of course I'll be jealous, but it's not going to show up in any sort of negative fashion and vice versa.
Of course, I could have just said his passion and not that he would kill me over wrestling.
I would kill you though.
Yeah, I know you would.
I think the same goes with the passion, but more so like the thing that I love about him is his creativity in so many sense of the word, like so many like artistically and gear design and wrestling ideas and just in general, like he has a lot of creativity that motivates me to be creative.
I have a vision.
Nice
Vision.
He's got that vision to go and push forward.
Big time.
Speaking of ideas. I mean, who comes up? Yeah, it was the perfect segue. It was as if we send questions to people.
I know.
And they kind of know. But who comes up with the content for you guys? If you haven't seen any of their non-in-ring kind of stuff, I guess you could say it is very exciting to watch because you never know what the heck is going to happen. I mean. So where do the influences come? Like, who comes up with the content? I'm assuming, since you guys are such best friends and you don't hate each other, that it's a two-person effort. But talk us through how you come up with some of those things.
I do everything.
Wow, dude! I was literally about to say I do everything.
Should have timed that better.
Yeah. And go.
6 inches.
truly a joint effort. I will give him most of the credit for stuff. Like he comes up with a lot of the ideas, but we really, workshop together.
Yeah.
Like it's especially like in-ring stuff. It's one of us will have an idea and it's like, okay, it'd be slightly better if we did this or that. And it spirals from there.
Yeah.
The video stuff, the out-of-ring content, totally depends. Like everything's back and forth. The mullet versus mullet match, all him. I was just there.
Nice.
His creative vision, the editing, everything was him.
Now, how did I take all credit for it? How did that come about? Like, how did you come up with the idea of that? And we also know who did not win that match.
Yeah.
Clear
By the looks of it.
Fairly clear.
Just hit him with the truth, dude.
I've been wanting to cut my hair for a long time. I really did. Yeah, I was sick of it. Like I'm losing my hair. The bald gene grows in my family. And I had it, but I didn't want to be the guy that was just trying to hold on to it. So
Gotcha.
It had to go. We spent a long time building to it. Like just slowly.
Yeah, this was like months. So I was like, hey, like.
I'm pretty sure it was February when I told him I want to shave.
Where it was like, hey, let's try to make this an organic thing over social media. So like I'll say something on Twitter, like something, my mullet looks so good. You comment, stuff like that. And eventually it got to a point where people were posting their own things, like even like Twitch streams, they'd be like, oh, if they're watching one of our matches, they're like, oh, I think Eddie has the better mullet or whatever. So like from like February, we were like trying to like we were doing a psyop, dude. We were trying to psyop the people.
Yeah. I had my barber film a video and I asked him to film me like a 30-second, just say, hey, I'm a barber. I cut hair for a living, and I think Ricky Gibson has the better mullet. And he came back to me like 3 days later with this professionally shot commercial about like with clips of him cutting hair, and he's like, my name is Roberto. I cut for Fisticuts Barbershop. I've traveled all over the world, Japan, Mexico, the United States. I've cut hair. I've cut some of the hairs for soccer players in the I can't remember what the soccer league is, whatever. I've done all of this, and
Somebody's muffins are ready.
And then he ends it with, and I believe that Ricky Gibson has a superior mullet. And it's still like this perfect, and then it just goes on and on. We had all these other people we didn't have them chime in. They just started chiming in and making this thing. And
so, yeah, that was the idea. He was losing his hair. He wanted to cut it. And it's like, I hate it when like, I'm with wrestling or just anything really, well, especially wrestling because it's the platform for it, but like I'm a use every part of the animal kind of guy. So like I was like, dude, we got to use that. I mean, that's a big deal. People talk about our mullets, like they're always putting it over. So it's like, if we don't do that, it'd be stupid. So
yep. It's got to be awesome to have an idea like that, and then just social media stuff just organically takes it to the next level, and did it make it easier for you guys to progress then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, think of it this way. Think 10 years ago. Imagine a pandemic like this where everything halted. There's no wrestling. 10 years ago, the professional wrestlers that were wrestling at the time, they would not have any platform for that entire time. Like there's no Facebook, there's no social media. Like
10 years ago, maybe like 20 years ago.
Look it up. 10 years ago. I mean, you might have had MySpace.
Well, 10 years ago we had Facebook.
Okay. So let's go 20 years ago. 20 years ago, where you might have had a little bit of internet, but not much. I've lost track of time. I can't believe I've been wrestling for so long. But people would have no platform. There would be no way to advance these stories when the pandemic happens and everything gets cut off. You wouldn't hear or see from these guys until everything got back to normal. And right now you have us that we're staying relevant. We're staying active. We produced a match that literally thousands of people have watched on IWTV, and we haven't been in a wrestling ring since March. Absolutely. Social media helped us here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a weird situation where it's like this was kind of the perfect time for wrestlers to have a pandemic. Was they have the tools to at least continue to put out content.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it helped in the sense that like I would hate to do all this work and then just like 2 people see it, or like it goes.
Yeah.
So with a natural build, it was like people are anticipating it. So
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's more people like hungry for content right now like that? Do you guys feel like you're actually able to reach more people?
I want to say yes, and it's harder for me to say totally yes completely because there's so much content out there that it's like I don't know if people are starved for content. I mean, with every kind of app and this and that, there's all kind, and it's not good.
Here's what I see.
I think they might be starved for good content.
I think it's a yes and no answer. So you have a lot of people who are like, I'm bored. I want to watch wrestling. I'm sitting at home. I got nothing else to do. I want to watch content. So there's that group of people. There's also a large group of people, and I'm not dissing them at all, but where they may say, hey, there's more important things in the world right now than wrestling. So shut up about it. I've seen that, and that's fine. Like, that's their opinion. Like, I'm here to entertain the rest of the people, but it could go either way for sure.
Yeah, we're here for the rest of the people that want the content too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Otherwise, we're going to podcast.
Yeah, I've seen a ton of people. Like, I've gained a ton of new followers over the last couple of months that I probably wouldn't have seen me if it weren't for this dead time, because they're just searching for something new and something different and something more.
Right. Now we're going through this, and you guys are obviously 2 very motivated people because you're putting stuff out there. You're continuing to push forward and try to build your line, your personas and your characters. What keeps you motivated other than just the drive for success?
Each other, big time. I know that sounds corny and cheesy, but we keep each other pretty motivated. We talk daily, and there's always some sort of like, keep it going. I don't know, goals. We have goals. Like we have somewhere where we want to be. And just to be stagnant, to sit still, bothers me to my core. Like, I don't like it.
Yeah, I think if you're not trying to reach the pinnacle of whatever you're most passionate about, like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, so yeah, I want to reach or fail trying. Like, that was a big thing about my whole getting over the fear of failure thing. Is like, dude, I want to fail now. So I'm like constantly searching that out, and like, I mean, obviously not really, but like, you know what I mean? That type of mentality where it's like, you know, I want to strive to the top or fail. Cause I don't want to be, cause like I said, I went so long not wrestling. I know what the feeling of wanting something really bad, this passion that I have, and not doing it, sitting alone in my room watching TV sucks. It's one of the worst feelings in the world, and I won't go back. So
I'm gonna really pull the curtain back here, and I'm not a motivational.
6 inches.
God, I'm not a motivational speaker, but I've created 4 rules for myself that I look at daily, and I study, and like I try to always work towards. And it's not all original ideas. I stole this from different people. Number 1, clear vision. Like, we have a vision, and that vision is never clear. It can change, obviously, but like, that vision has to stay clear, and you always have to be working towards that. Number 2, empty the bucket. And what that means is like, put everything into it. Like, there's no holding back. There's no like, oh, it's not the right time. Like, I don't want to, you know, put everything into this, or I don't want to lose all my money or whatever. Like, it's not an option. Put everything in there, give everything, and not just for myself, but for everyone around me.
Yeah. It's that mentality of like, oh, when I do this, I can do this. Like, you're just waiting for, like, throughout my 20s, I was like dreamer, like a lot of dreams that never came true. It's like, oh, I want to fix up this car. Never happened. Like, so I actively try to recognize that and not do that. So I'll be like, oh, that's $200. Before I'd be like, I can't get that. Now I'll buy it. I'll find a way to make the $200 back. You know, whatever that is.
Rule number 3, always blame yourself. Talking to me, anything that I fail at is my fault. Anything that happens to me is my fault. And because of that, I can control everything. Like, nothing can get in my way. I can't say, oh, it's Eddie's fault I didn't make it, or it's the booker's fault for not putting me in the position. It's always my fault, and that always gives me control. The last one is, and this was a quote from my wrestling coach, was failure is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So there's going to be the times where we don't make it, I fail or whatever it is. But if you let that get to you, if you let that hold you back, like the suffering part, that's optional. You're going to fail. Everyone is, but you don't have to suffer from it.
That's so much better than my wrestling coach. His was just Russell. So much better.
Same kind of message, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Sort of. So let's get out of the wrestling ring. Let's see what you guys are doing when you're not wrestling. What kind of hobbies do you guys have?
Oh my God.
I tan.
Does watching wrestling count?
Yeah, it does.
So my day-to-day, so I work out, I tan, and I hang out with my kids. I've got 2 kids. I've a 9-year-old boy and a 4-year-old boy. Both are obsessed with wrestling, just like I was. And that's I don't have any other hobbies. Like it's all traveling for wrestling, eating at Denny's, and playing with my kids.
Yeah, pretty much. I was gonna make a joke. Forget it.
Probably not.
Yeah. But yeah, same like for me, like minus playing with his kids.
Yeah.
But no, but like everything is geared towards wrestling. Like that's the passion I have and the drive and so I'm tanning like he is, working out, all my hobbies go into wrestling one way or another. So yeah, we're kind of boring outside of wrestling.
My hobby is continuing to grow my beard during the pandemic.
It's pretty good. If I could grow one, I would.
Christopher can't grow one for the life of him. I mean,
this is all I got.
He's got nothing. Favorites. Everybody's got them. We want to find out some of your guys' favorites. So let's see. When you can travel, what's your favorite city to wrestle in?
Man, city? Ooh, city. That's because I was gonna go state
or state. We'll go state.
Okay.
I mean, we could take a whole state.
I really enjoy any time we go down to California.
Mm-hmm.
That's always fun. The drive is always fun, even though it's long. But that's like part of it. That's part of the fun.
Yeah. I don't know if city is the right term because like we don't go sightseeing. Like if we drive to the hotel, we drive to the venue, we drive to the hotel, we drive home.
Yeah.
If we fly, we get picked up, go to the venue. Like we don't go out to the bars. Like so we don't ever.
Well,
see
I'll
the
say
city.
this: Sacramento is the drizzling shits.
Sacramento sucks. Yeah. I love wrestling.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
I love wrestling in Oakland, California. The city itself is almost scary, but there's something fun about it. Like it's not dangerous.
Yeah.
Like I've never felt like danger there, but it's something different. But the venue for Hood Slam, if you haven't heard of it, look it up. It's incredible. Hood Slam is one of my favorite places to wrestle. And then Defy at the Washington Hall in Seattle, Washington. The energy that's in that building is electrifying. It's incredible.
Nice. And I think I saw on Twitter as I was going through that they have a show in September.
So sorry.
That's not me.
I think. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I think that was my easy bake oven. Sorry.
I lost everything. Yes. So we have a show in September. It's September like 20th or something like that. As long as everything else goes fine. And then they have a joint show with a company out in. I'm losing everything. I'm so sorry.
Ricky's making the screen smaller and smaller.
It keeps shrinking.
Get it
a hold of
together,
it.
dude.
I don't know. I lost everything, so I hope you guys can still see us just fine.
We're still good. Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah. So
regular
they have
size.
Yeah, they have a show in September as long as everything's fine. We're currently the Defy Worldwide Tag Team Champions. So yeah, and I don't just say that I love that venue because Defy and having the champions, like it's that. It's just insane how loud and wild it is. But I'll tell you, my favorite road trip is to Reno, Nevada from Oregon.
Crater Lake.
Crater Lake. That's actually where that whole thing started from. I told him we were driving right by Crater Lake, and he was like, awesome. And we passed this little pond. He's like, Crater Lake. But yeah, the drive through the mountains, through the fresh air, and then eventually the desert of Nevada, like it's just amazing.
It is beautiful. I have been lucky enough to go out there and have been to Reno and a bunch of the cities in California and Vegas and Tahoe. So it is very beautiful out there. And Oregon. I actually stopped in Portland one time, and then Eugene another time going on a baseball tour with my dad a long time ago.
Nice.
As we were driving to Seattle.
That's cool. Eugene's.
You're the second person that has said that. That I've said I've been there, and they're like.
I mean, the campus is nice, of course, but that's the campus.
Favorite opponents in the ring that you've wrestled?
Oh man, there's a team from Canada. They're called the Strays, and we had a series of matches with them, and they are unbelievably good. So yeah, I would say that's one of my favorites.
Stoner Brothers from California were incredible. Always fun to get in the ring with. They wrestle for Hood Slam as well, so check that out. I really enjoyed the couple months where I worked with Gangrel. He is so knowledgeable and so fun to work with and really hard to understand. Like he talked real quick and a little bit of a like slurs his words just a little bit, where it's I don't know, it's fun. It's kind of difficult to understand him, but man, he's incredible. Fun guy to work with for sure.
The next two favorites were inputted here from Mr. Christopher. We have favorite snack or cheat meal.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we can't say that on here, dude.
I'll go snack first. Sour Patch Kid heads, top notch.
Shit. Favorite cheat. I mean, I'm always cheat mealing. I don't have really a super strict diet because I'm a little on the smaller side, so I'm always trying to get calories in.
Keep working. Just keep
you
working.
say keep working? Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always eating crappy food, so.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite cheat meal. I just love food.
We know. Yeah.
Favorite comedian?
Woo! Oh man. We joked. I was gonna say Chris D'Elia, but
he doesn't want to get canceled now. So
get canceled.
He's got a little heat right now. No, I actually think he stinks. I would say maybe Tim Dillon. If you don't know who that is, check him out. Man, Mark Norman's really good. Sam Morrell. These guys just put out like a YouTube. They put their specials on YouTube, so go check them out. They're really good. So yeah, I would say those guys.
I have a variety of different ones. Norm Macdonald's dry humor is hilarious to me.
That's hilarious.
Mike Birbiglia is hilarious. A little bit edgy, but Anthony Jeselnik makes me laugh quite a bit.
I got a follow up. So if you guys could get one comedian or writer to help you write something for you guys specifically, who would you get? Who would work well with you think?
I almost said another.
You wouldn't know him, but
dude, I can't even be on the air right now.
We have a good friend that's a comedian that is a former wrestler. His name is Todd Royce.
Good answer.
And he is one of my favorite guys in the world, but he's a comedian. He's got to go follow him, Todd Royce XXL. He was on Kill Tony recently. He's got I don't know. He's a hilarious guy, and he gets us, and he gets wrestling. So
That's
Cool.
a way better answer than Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Christopher, just to answer
Edit it
that,
out.
just to answer that question myself, Christopher, my favorite comedian is George Carlin.
Yeah, I knew
May
that.
he rest. May he rest.
Yeah.
Last one for the favorites. Who would the dream tag team match be against? And where would that match be?
My answer always to this is Rock and Roll Express. We were about to wrestle them.
So close.
So close. And then they had, I think, something with New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to get that one back. And where? Oh, man. I don't know. Anywhere, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
Cow Palace.
Cow Palace.
The Cow Palace.
Yeah.
Your bedroom? Got his ass. Not your wife. You're the cow.
Yikes. I think a close second for man, I got a second, a third, and this is I'm not talking now, like in both of our primes. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, or the Midnight Express. Anywhere. I don't know if I'd have a favorite place to wrestle them, but
I want someone to say at some point in time, like some crazy place like Antarctica, Mount Fuji. Like,
Oh, I didn't know that was
you
on.
know.
In that case.
Oh yeah. The sky is the limit with the monkeys.
So like a place where no action ever happens, like your bedroom.
Wow, dude. You turn the bedroom joke around on me? Wow, dude.
We said him. I lobbed it up right there
You sure
for him.
did.
Okay, so our last question. It's probably the most important question. It's debated
Don't
on
say 6 inches.
on numerous podcasts. One side is gaining a little bit of momentum.
Okay.
Hopefully we can keep that momentum going. But Oreo cookies. Are you guys the classic single stuff or the double stuff?
See, I thought you were gonna go like Brett or Owen, but okay.
I'm gonna save that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double stuff.
Yeah, double stuff. The single stuff.
I always find that the double stuff is the Bret Hart of it.
Yes. The single stuff is almost insulting.
Well, hold on. Don't be disrespect the single stuff, but I mean, it's no secret that everyone loves the filling of an Oreo.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Give them more.
Exactly.
Yeah. How could you not like it? Who doesn't like that? That's insane.
Crazy people.
Yeah, exactly. There are numerous people, and you know who you are, who we've talked to.
That's
that
wild.
prefer the single stuff.
Are these professionals?
They
Are these people you've had on this podcast? That's
They
disheartening. Yeah, it's
we
disheartening.
won't name names. You can go
I
back
want
and
names.
watch.
Slide me the whole dossier.
Do you dip Oreos in milk?
Ew.
I am
Yes.
a no milk ever
No
with
milk.
my Oreos guy.
What about like a chocolate chip
Pepper.
cookie?
Oh.
Do you do you dip your chocolate chip cookies in milk? No. Okay.
No.
Yeah, okay.
I am not a dipper.
Yes, no. Okay. I
Chicken
normally
nuggets,
don't.
I'll dip all day long.
In
In
milk?
milk, you're saying?
I normally don't dip, but there's something classic about dipping a chocolate, like a warm chocolate chip cookie.
What are you,
in milk.
6 years old, dude?
Yeah, I want to be.
All right. You're a grown ass man dipping your cookies in milk? Grow up,
I
dude.
said I don't.
It's okay. It's okay. We got here. You guys gave us the answer we were looking for. We appreciate
Yes.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you
And-
guys for the time tonight. Now it's your time. Now, what do you guys have going on? Where can we find you guys? Where can people go look up 4 Minutes of Heat?
Real fast. That's a picture of a young Eddie Pearl.
Dude, that's Manta style, dude.
Manta style.
My wrestling coach did not think that was funny.
He called me a kid just now. So I was gonna pull one of the other random things that he has here on his bookshelf.
Don't worry about some of that stuff.
To prove that he was the real child, but I don't need to.
Okay.
What do we have going on? So patreon.com/forumh. We post the latest stuff there. We post just about almost every day. We do a 4-minute podcast Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah.
That is a one-topic podcast that no one should hear. But the rest of our content,
I don't know, dude. We just recorded an all-time classic, Eddie versus Math.
Yeah,
where he just asked me math questions. So,
and if you remember from earlier,
hard,
Eddie had some learning disabilities.
not the brightest bulb. Yeah, it's rough.
But yeah, so we have that. We have a YouTube channel that we don't really update. So
Cool, dude.
do
You're
what you
really
want.
selling us.
And then social media, like we're all over social media with Facebook, Ricky Gibson, Eddie Pearl. Instagram, you can search same thing, Ricky Gibson, Eddie Pearl. You'll find us on there. And Twitter. Twitter's probably our favorite platform right now, just because it's so easy to go off of. But yeah,
That's it.
we have a
Merch.
Twitch channel
We have
starting real soon.
Ooh.
I've already followed. Yep, I've already got the follow. Yeah.
Merch?
Merch, the number 4 minutesofheat.square.site. So that's easy. And I like to always end with saying thank you. Like a lot of times we ask for like buy our merch, subscribe to our Patreon. We have fun doing what we do. And the only way that we continue to be able to do what we do is by you guys like you bringing us on a podcast, fans hitting the like button, hitting share, hitting subscribe, even if it's not monetary. If you have no money, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling money wise, if you have no money, you can still support us. Like we're independent contractors. We live and breathe based on the follows, the likes, and the shares. So I thank you from both of us. We thank you too for having us on here, and honestly thank the fans for listening and giving us an hour of your day to just joke around and have fun.
Well, we thank you guys.
Yes.
It was a blast. We were very excited to get a tag team on. We've seen a lot about you guys, and we were excited to have some fun. And I knew you guys would bring 4 minutes of heat for us.
Oh, I'm so sorry we let you down.
Yeah. Not at all. Not even a
No,
little.
definitely not. We'll have up
But-
all the socials at the end and the credits. And don't worry, for those of you who are just listening to this and not watching the YouTube video, you will hear either my beautiful voice or Christopher's beautiful voice telling you all those sweet sounds to click on your keyboard to get to those social media places.
Awesome.
So go
That's
check those out. Go hit the like button. Go hit subscribe. Go check us out at WrestleJoy. We have our weekly podcast out there. We're doing these interviews. We got tons lined up. Thanks for joining us. 4 minutes of heat. Ricky, Eddie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Come again soon.
Thank you guys. Peace out.
You can find 4 Minutes of Heat pretty much everywhere. They're on Facebook and YouTube. Just search for 4 Minutes of Heat. Find them individually on Twitter and Instagram. Just search for Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl. Want merch? Well, they got it. Check out their own site, 4minutesofheat.square.site. That's the number 4minutesofheat.square.site. And don't forget to check out their Patreon site, patreon.com/4MH. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Bald Monkeys. You can also catch our interviews on WrestleJoy.com. Watch any of our other interviews or our roundtable podcasts at YouTube. Just search for The Bald Monkeys. And listen to the Bald Monkeys podcast on Apple iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.